The Zen of Work, Finding Harmony Between Drive and Rest. Written by Ronnie Rowland, published by Growth Literacy Lounge. Burnout rates have skyrocketed by 40% in the past decade, yet people are working longer hours than ever before. The world tells us that success is earned through relentless effort, that if we just push a little harder, wake up a little earlier, and sacrifice a little more, we will finally arrive. But what if everything we've been taught about work is wrong? For years, I believed that working harder was the only way to get ahead. I packed my schedule, eliminated downtime, and convinced myself that exhaustion was just part of the process. Like so many others, I wore my busyness as a badge of honor. But no matter how many hours I worked, there was always more to do. No matter how much I achieved, it never felt like enough. This is the trap that so many professionals fall into, the endless cycle of doing more, moving faster, and chasing success without ever stopping to ask, is this sustainable? Is this even working? There is another way. The most effective and fulfilled people in the world do not operate from a place of constant struggle. They understand that success is not about working harder, but about working smarter. It is not about grinding endlessly, but about moving in alignment with natural rhythms of focus and rest. It is not about proving one's worth through exhaustion, but about mastering the balance between drive and stillness. This book is not about doing less, it is about doing what matters. It is about redefining success in a way that honors both ambition and well-being. It blends ancient wisdom from Zen philosophy with modern performance science to offer a new approach, one that allows you to excel in your work without sacrificing yourself in the process. If you have ever felt stuck in the grind, exhausted by the pressure to always do more, this book is for you. It will challenge the beliefs that keep you trapped in overwork and offer practical strategies to create a more balanced, fulfilling way of working. By the end, you will have a new perspective on productivity, one that is not driven by stress, but by clarity, focus, and sustainable success. The path to achievement does not have to be exhausting. Success does not require burnout. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Productivity Trap: Why More Work Isn't the Answer. Burnout rates have skyrocketed by 40% in the past decade, yet we work longer hours than ever before. We glorify the grind, believing that more effort leads to more success. But what if this assumption is flawed? What if working harder is actually making us less productive, less creative, and less fulfilled? For years, I chased productivity like a badge of honor. I woke up early, worked late, and convinced myself that exhaustion was proof of my dedication. But despite the long hours, my output was stagnant. I wasn't producing better work, I was just producing more stress. This isn't just my story, it's a global epidemic. We live in a world where busyness is mistaken for effectiveness. Many professionals wear their fatigue like a trophy, believing that sacrificing sleep, personal time, and mental well-being is the price of ambition. But the truth is, overworking doesn't lead to greater achievement, it leads to diminished returns. The science is clear, the human brain has limits. Studies show that our cognitive capacity starts declining after a few hours of intense focus. Pushing beyond this point doesn't result in better work, it results in sloppy thinking, poor decision-making, and increased mistakes. The more exhausted we become, the harder it is to engage in deep, meaningful work. Zen philosophy teaches that force is often counterproductive. A river doesn't push against the rocks, it flows around them. Yet modern work culture encourages us to go against nature, to push through fatigue, to resist rest. This mindset is what leads to burnout, anxiety, and disengagement. True productivity isn't about relentless effort, it's about understanding when to work and when to step back. Consider the concept of Wu Wei, a principle from Taoism that translates to effortless action. It's the idea that the best results come not from excessive struggle, but from working in harmony with natural rhythms. Athletes call this the zone. Writers call it flow. It's that state where work feels smooth, focused, and almost automatic. The irony is that the harder we try to force productivity, the more elusive it becomes. Creativity, problem-solving, and deep thinking require space. The best ideas often emerge not when we are grinding away at our desks, but when we are taking a walk, resting, or allowing our minds to wander. Einstein reportedly had his biggest insights while playing the violin, not while sitting at his desk forcing calculations. So why do we resist rest? Because we equate stillness with laziness. We fear that if we slow down, we'll fall behind. But in reality, the opposite is true. The most successful people aren't the ones who work the hardest, they are the ones who understand when to step back, recharge, and return with clarity. Breaking free from the productivity trap requires a shift in mindset. Instead of asking, "How much can I get done?" ask, "How can I work in a way that feels natural and energizing?" Instead of forcing yourself to push through exhaustion, experiment with working in focused sprints followed by intentional breaks. Instead of treating rest as a luxury, recognize it as a necessity. The path to sustainable success isn't found in exhaustion, it's found in balance. The most effective workers aren't the ones who burn out the fastest, they are the ones who know how to manage their energy wisely. The next time you feel guilty for resting, remind yourself, true productivity isn't about working more, it's about working smarter. Chapter 2. The yin and yang of work and rest. Work and rest are often seen as opposites, but they are actually two sides of the same coin. In Eastern philosophy, this balance is represented by yin and yang, two complementary forces that create harmony. Without rest, work becomes unsustainable. Without work, rest loses its meaning. Yet, modern society glorifies one and dismisses the other. In the relentless pursuit of success, rest is treated as a weakness. People boast about working late, skipping vacations, and sacrificing sleep, as if exhaustion is a measure of dedication. But the reality is that without intentional rest, productivity declines, creativity stalls, and burnout becomes inevitable. The mind and body are not machines, they require cycles of effort and recovery to function at their best. Science confirms what ancient wisdom has always taught: strategic rest enhances performance. Studies on ultradian rhythms show that the human brain naturally works in cycles of high energy followed by a dip in focus every 90 minutes. When we ignore these signals and push through fatigue, we force ourselves into a state of diminishing returns. The harder we push, the less we accomplish. Elite athletes understand this balance intuitively. They don't train at full intensity every day, because they know that rest is what allows the body to rebuild stronger. The same principle applies to mental performance. Without breaks, the mind fatigues, leading to slower thinking, reduced creativity, and increased mistakes. The key is not to eliminate work, but to find a rhythm where drive and rest support each other. Zen philosophy emphasizes the importance of effortless action, working in alignment with natural energy cycles rather than resisting them. This concept is known as Wu Wei, or going with the flow. It doesn't mean doing nothing, it means recognizing the right time for action and the right time for stillness. When you honor this balance, work feels more fluid and sustainable. Consider the way a musician plays a piece of music. The notes create the melody, but the pauses in between give it rhythm and meaning. Without the spaces, the music would be chaotic noise. Work follows the same principle. Constant effort without moments of stillness leads to overwhelm. But when rest is integrated into the process, productivity becomes more natural and effective. Many of history's greatest thinkers practiced this principle. Nikola Tesla would take long daily walks, letting ideas form in his mind before returning to his experiments. Leonardo da Vinci was known for taking breaks mid-project to allow insights to emerge. Even modern tech leaders like Bill Gates use think weeks to disconnect and gain clarity. They understand that breakthroughs don't happen under constant pressure. They happen in the space between effort. The challenge is overcoming the guilt associated with rest. The world has conditioned us to equate busyness with success. But what if the real key to effectiveness is not doing more, but doing less with greater intention? True productivity comes from learning to trust the natural cycle of work and recovery, rather than forcing productivity at all times. To bring balance into your work life, start by paying attention to your own energy rhythms. Notice when you feel naturally focused and when your energy dips. Instead of pushing through fatigue, experiment with taking short breaks to reset. Even 5 minutes of deep breathing, stretching, or stepping outside can restore mental clarity. Over time, you'll begin to see that these pauses aren't interruptions, they are essential parts of the process. Success isn't about how much you work, it's about how effectively you manage your energy. Work and rest are not enemies. When they exist in harmony, they create a sustainable, fulfilling path to achievement. The next time you feel the urge to push through exhaustion, ask yourself, am I working in alignment with my natural rhythm, or against it? The answer will determine not only your productivity but your long-term well-being. Chapter 3. Mastering Flow, the Art of Working with Ease. There are moments when work feels effortless, when time fades away, distractions disappear, and everything just clicks. This state is known as flow. It is the sweet spot where skill and challenge meet, allowing us to perform at our best without feeling drained. But for most people, these moments are rare. Instead, work feels like a constant battle against distractions, fatigue, and stress. Flow is not accidental, it is a state that can be cultivated. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, who coined the term, found that people are happiest and most productive when they are deeply immersed in a challenging yet rewarding task. The problem is that modern work environments are designed to disrupt flow. Emails, notifications, and endless meetings pull our attention in multiple directions, preventing us from fully engaging in any one task. As a result, we struggle to reach the level of focus needed for peak performance. Zen philosophy teaches that true effort is effortless. The concept of Wu Wei, or effortless action, suggests that the best work happens when we stop forcing and start allowing. This does not mean avoiding effort, it means aligning with the natural rhythm of focus. Just as a river flows around obstacles instead of fighting them, we work best when we move with our energy instead of against it. Flow occurs when we eliminate resistance. Resistance comes from distractions, internal doubt, and mental clutter. To enter a flow state, we must first create the conditions for deep focus. This means setting clear goals, removing distractions, and fully committing to the present task. Multitasking, constant interruptions, and unnecessary stress pull us out of flow and into mental friction. The key is to simplify. One of the biggest barriers to flow is overthinking. When we analyze every step or anticipate failure, we interrupt the process before it even begins. Athletes call this paralysis by analysis, the inability to perform because the mind is too busy thinking about how to perform. Zen teaches us to let go of attachment to outcomes and focus only on the present action. When we do this, work becomes lighter and results come naturally. A simple way to trigger flow is through deep, uninterrupted work sessions. The Pomodoro technique, which involves 25-minute focus sprints followed by short breaks, is one method. Another is time blocking, dedicating specific hours to deep work without distractions. The goal is not to force productivity but to create a structure that allows flow to emerge naturally. Movement also plays a role in flow. Many great thinkers, from Aristotle to Steve Jobs, used walking as a way to stimulate ideas. Physical activity helps clear mental clutter, making it easier to enter a focused state. Even simple breathing exercises can shift the mind from scattered to centered, creating the right conditions for flow. The moment we stop fighting work and start engaging with it fully, everything changes. Flow is not about forcing effort, it is about being fully present in what we are doing. When we embrace this mindset, work becomes more than just a task, it becomes a form of meditation. We are no longer working just to finish something, we are working to experience the process itself. Mastering flow is about removing friction, simplifying focus, and trusting the process. It is about recognizing that work is not the enemy, our resistance to it is. The next time you sit down to work, instead of forcing yourself to concentrate, try creating the conditions for deep engagement. Reduce distractions, set a clear goal, and give your full attention to the task at hand. You may find that the effort you were dreading becomes something entirely different, something smooth, natural, and even enjoyable. Chapter 4. The Power of Doing Nothing. In a world obsessed with productivity, doing nothing feels like a waste of time. People fill every spare moment with activity, believing that constant motion is the key to success. But what if stillness is just as important as action? What if the most powerful breakthroughs happen not when we are working, but when we allow ourselves to pause? The greatest minds in history understood the value of doing nothing. Albert Einstein often took long walks to let ideas percolate. Leonardo da Vinci was known to stare at his paintings for hours before making a single brushstroke. Bill Gates schedules think weeks where he isolates himself to read and reflect. These individuals recognize that deep thinking requires space. When the mind is constantly engaged, it has no room to process, connect ideas, or spark creativity. Science supports this idea. The brain has a default mode network DMN, which activates when we are not focused on a specific task. This network is responsible for creativity, problem solving, and self-reflection. Studies show that people who take breaks or engage in idle time often generate more original ideas than those who push through without rest. The irony is that when we step away from work, we often return with greater clarity and insight. Zen philosophy embraces stillness as a source of wisdom. The practice of zazen, or seated meditation, teaches that insight arises not from thinking harder, but from allowing thoughts to settle. Just as a muddy river clears when left undisturbed, the mind gains clarity when given time to rest. This is why monks and sages throughout history have valued silence, not as an absence of thought, but as a space for deeper awareness. Modern society resists this idea. We are conditioned to equate busyness with worth, so doing nothing feels uncomfortable. People instinctively reach for their phones in moments of stillness, filling every gap with distraction. But this constant input prevents true reflection. When we always consume, we never create. When we always react, we never think. The result is mental exhaustion and a loss of clarity. Reclaiming the power of doing nothing requires intentional practice. The first step is to recognize that rest is not wasted time. Taking a walk without headphones, sitting in silence, or allowing yourself to daydream are not unproductive activities, they are essential to mental renewal. Even small moments of stillness can reset the mind and unlock new perspectives. The next step is to embrace boredom. Boredom is often seen as something to avoid, but it is actually a gateway to creativity. When the brain is not engaged in external stimulation, it starts making unexpected connections. Many breakthroughs happen in these moments of mental drift. Instead of immediately filling idle time, try letting your mind wander. You may be surprised at what emerges. Finally, incorporate deliberate pauses into your daily routine. Set aside 5 minutes to simply sit in silence. Resist the urge to check your phone or fill the space with noise. Observe your thoughts without judgment. Over time, you will notice a shift. Ideas will come more easily, stress will decrease, and work will feel less like a struggle. The more you embrace stillness, the more powerful it becomes. Doing nothing is not about laziness, it is about allowing space for the mind to function at its best. Just as an athlete needs rest days to build strength, the brain needs moments of stillness to process and grow. The next time you find yourself stuck, overwhelmed, or uninspired, try stepping away. Trust that in the quiet, the answers you seek will reveal themselves. The most profound insights often arise not from effort, but from letting go. Chapter 5. The Zen Mindset for High Performance. Success is often associated with relentless effort, but true high performance comes from a different source: mental clarity. The ability to focus, adapt, and sustain productivity over time depends not just on skill but on mindset. The Zen approach to work offers a powerful alternative to the stress-driven, hustle-oriented mentality that dominates modern workplaces. One of the most important Zen principles is Shoshin, or beginner's mind. It teaches that the best way to learn, grow, and perform at a high level is to approach each task as if you are seeing it for the first time. When people believe they already know everything, they stop learning. When they approach work with curiosity and openness, they remain adaptable and engaged. This is why the best performers are not those who cling to rigid methods, but those who continuously refine their craft with fresh eyes. Another key element of the Zen mindset is detachment from outcomes. Most people fixate on results, constantly worrying about success, failure, or what others think. But this attachment creates tension, making work feel like a struggle. Zen teaches that the best way to achieve great results is to focus fully on the process, not the outcome. A musician who obsesses over hitting the perfect note may play stiffly, while one who immerses in the act of playing will create something truly beautiful. The same applies to all forms of work. When effort is placed on the task itself, rather than external validation, performance improves naturally. This mindset also reduces stress. Many professionals operate in a constant state of anxiety, fearing they are not doing enough. But Zen wisdom reminds us that stress often comes not from the work itself but from our resistance to it. When we wish something were different, when we rush, worry, or resent a task, we create unnecessary mental friction. By accepting what is in front of us and fully engaging with it, even difficult work becomes more manageable. A simple way to cultivate this mindset is through presence. When people multitask, check notifications, or think about the next thing on their to-do list, they dilute their attention. But when they bring full awareness to the task at hand, work becomes smoother and more enjoyable. Presence turns ordinary actions into opportunities for mastery. Even answering emails, writing reports, or attending meetings can feel more meaningful when approached with full attention. Breathwork is another tool for developing a Zen approach to work. The breath is always available, yet it is often ignored. Taking a few deep breaths before starting a task can reset the mind, reduce tension, and create a sense of calm focus. Many high performers, from athletes to executives, use breathwork to center themselves before important moments. This simple practice can transform how work feels, shifting it from rushed and chaotic to intentional and grounded. Another key aspect of the Zen mindset is knowing when to step back. Society glorifies pushing harder, but sometimes the most effective action is non-action. When frustration builds or focus fades, instead of forcing through, taking a step back can be the smartest choice. Even brief moments of stillness can refresh the mind and allow new ideas to emerge. This is not about avoiding work, but about understanding the natural rhythms of energy and attention. Ultimately, high performance is not about doing more, it is about doing what matters with full engagement. The Zen mindset teaches that work does not have to be a constant struggle. When approached with presence, curiosity, and a willingness to let go of attachment, work becomes lighter, focus becomes sharper, and results take care of themselves. The next time work feels overwhelming, pause, take a breath. Bring your full attention to the present moment. In that space, the path forward becomes clear. Chapter 6. Work as a meditation. Most people separate work from mindfulness, believing that productivity and presence are opposites. In reality, work can be a form of meditation, a practice of deep focus, awareness, and flow. When approached with intention, even the most routine tasks become opportunities for clarity and mastery. The key is not to change the work itself, but to change the way we engage with it. The modern workplace is filled with distractions. People jump between emails, social media, and meetings, rarely giving their full attention to any one task. This fragmented focus leads to stress, mistakes, and a sense of exhaustion. But Zen teaches that presence is the foundation of skillful action. When we work with full attention, the experience shifts from rushed and chaotic to calm and purposeful. One of the simplest ways to transform work into meditation is through single tasking. Instead of trying to juggle multiple things at once, commit to one task at a time. Research shows that multitasking reduces efficiency and increases cognitive load. The mind is not designed to switch rapidly between tasks, it performs best when fully engaged with one thing. By working in focused blocks of time, productivity increases while stress decreases. Breath awareness is another powerful tool. In traditional meditation, the breath serves as an anchor for attention. The same principle can be applied to work. Before starting a task, take a deep breath to reset. When distractions arise, use the breath as a way to bring focus back. This simple practice creates a sense of calm, making even high-pressure situations more manageable. Reframing routine tasks is also essential. Many people view certain aspects of work as tedious or meaningless, which leads to resistance. But Zen teaches that all tasks, no matter how small, can be approached with care and attention. Whether answering emails, writing reports, or attending meetings, bringing full awareness to the moment turns the ordinary into something meaningful. Instead of rushing through tasks to get to the next thing, fully engage with what is in front of you. Physical posture also plays a role in work as meditation. In Zen tradition, the way one sits, stands, or moves is considered part of mindfulness practice. Slouching at a desk or hunching over a screen creates tension in both the body and mind. Sitting with a straight spine, relaxing the shoulders, and keeping the breath steady enhances focus and reduces fatigue. Small adjustments in posture can lead to noticeable improvements in energy and concentration. The environment also influences how we work. A cluttered workspace creates mental clutter, while a simple, organized space promotes clarity. Zen emphasizes simplicity, not minimalism for its own sake, but as a way to remove distractions and create space for focus. Taking a few minutes to clear a desk, adjust lighting, or remove unnecessary noise can create an atmosphere that supports mindful work. Beyond the physical aspects, the way we approach effort itself determines how work feels. Struggling against tasks creates frustration, while embracing them with openness makes them easier to handle. Zen calls this effortless effort not laziness, but a state where work flows naturally. When we stop resisting and start engaging fully, work no longer feels like a burden. The real shift happens when work is no longer seen as something to get through but as an opportunity for practice. Every task, no matter how big or small, becomes a way to develop patience, discipline, and awareness. The workplace can become a training ground for mindfulness, not separate from meditation but an extension of it. Bringing mindfulness into work does not require extra time, only a shift in attention. By practicing presence, focusing on one task at a time, and using the breath to maintain awareness, work becomes more than just a series of obligations. It becomes a place of clarity, growth, and even peace. The next time you begin a task, try approaching it with full presence. Instead of rushing to finish, engage completely. In that moment, work becomes meditation. Chapter 7. The Science of Rest and Recovery. Rest is often seen as the opposite of work, but in reality, it is what makes great work possible. Just as muscles need recovery after intense exercise, the brain requires periods of rest to function at its best. Without proper recovery, focus diminishes, creativity declines, and burnout becomes inevitable. The most successful individuals are not those who work the longest hours, but those who understand the science of rest and use it to their advantage. The brain operates in cycles. Research on ultradian rhythms shows that humans naturally move between periods of high energy and mental fatigue every 90 minutes. When people push beyond this cycle without breaks, their cognitive performance drops, errors increase, decision-making becomes impaired, and productivity suffers. This is why working longer hours does not necessarily lead to better results. Quality of focus matters more than quantity of time. Sleep is the most important form of recovery, yet it is often sacrificed in pursuit of productivity. Studies show that even a slight decrease in sleep quality can have the same effect on cognitive function as being intoxicated. Memory consolidation, emotional regulation, and creative problem-solving all happen during deep sleep. Without it, people feel sluggish, unfocused, and irritable. Prioritizing sleep is not a luxury, it is a requirement for peak performance. Beyond sleep, active recovery is essential. This includes activities that engage the mind in a different way, such as exercise, nature walks, and creative hobbies. These activities allow the brain to reset, preventing mental exhaustion. Many breakthroughs happen not at a desk but during moments of relaxation. Einstein famously came up with his theories while sailing. Writers and artists often find inspiration while stepping away from their work. The brain connects ideas more effectively when it is not under pressure. Micro breaks throughout the day also play a key role in maintaining energy levels. A 5-minute break to stretch, breathe, or simply step outside can restore focus and prevent burnout. The Pomodoro technique, which alternates focused work sessions with short breaks, is based on this principle. The key is not just to take breaks, but to use them intentionally. Scrolling through social media does not provide true rest, stepping away from screens and engaging in a calming activity does. Another powerful form of recovery is deep relaxation. Practices like meditation, yoga, and controlled breathing activate the parasympathetic nervous system, reducing stress and improving focus. Many high performers use these techniques to reset their minds and maintain steady energy throughout the day. Just a few minutes of intentional relaxation can have a profound impact on mental clarity. The environment also influences how restorative rest can be. Constant stimulation from notifications, emails, and background noise keeps the brain in a state of alertness, preventing full recovery. Creating moments of quiet, whether through silence, nature, or simply disconnecting from technology, allows the nervous system to reset. This is why retreats, vacations, and digital detoxes can feel so refreshing. They remove mental clutter, giving the mind space to recharge. Culturally, rest is often associated with laziness, but this mindset is flawed. The highest achievers, from elite athletes to top executives, understand that rest is a performance strategy. Pushing through exhaustion leads to diminishing returns, while strategic recovery fuels sustained success. Shifting the mindset from rest as a reward to rest as a necessity is key to long-term effectiveness. True productivity is not about working more but about working smarter. Balancing effort with recovery leads to better results, not just in work but in overall well-being. The next time exhaustion sets in, instead of pushing through, try stepping back. Give the mind the space it needs to reset. In doing so, work will feel less like a battle and more like a natural rhythm, where rest and action support each other seamlessly. Chapter 8. Breaking free from the hustle mentality. The hustle mentality is deeply ingrained in modern society. People wear overwork as a badge of honor, believing that success comes from grinding harder than everyone else. The idea of slowing down feels like falling behind. But in reality, this constant push leads to exhaustion, inefficiency, and burnout. The most effective individuals are not those who work the hardest but those who work with intention. The obsession with hustle is fueled by a belief that more effort equals more results. But research shows that working beyond a certain point does not increase productivity. The Pareto principle, or 80-20 rule, states that 80% of results come from 20% of efforts. This means that much of the extra work people do contributes little to actual success. Instead of focusing on working more, high performers focus on working on the right things. The fear of stopping drives many people to overwork. They worry that if they take a break, opportunities will be lost. This fear is reinforced by social media, where success stories are often framed around relentless effort. But what is rarely shown is the behind-the-scenes balance, the recovery time, the moments of clarity, the structured focus that allows real achievement. True success is not about constant action but about knowing when to push and when to pause. Zen philosophy teaches the importance of detachment. In the context of work, this means letting go of the need to always be busy. Productivity should be a tool, not an identity. When people define their worth by how much they work, they trap themselves in a cycle of exhaustion. Shifting the focus from doing more to doing what matters creates space for both effectiveness and fulfillment. The first step in breaking free from the hustle mentality is questioning the need for constant busyness. Instead of asking, "How much can I get done?" ask, "What is actually essential?" This shift forces a reevaluation of priorities. Many tasks that feel urgent are not truly important. Learning to differentiate between meaningful work and busy work is a skill that transforms how time and energy are used. Another key practice is setting boundaries. Overworking is often a result of saying yes to everything. Learning to say no to unnecessary meetings, unrealistic deadlines, and distractions creates the freedom to focus on high-impact work. The most productive people protect their time, ensuring they are spending it where it matters most. A surprising truth is that slowing down can actually accelerate progress. When people take time to reflect, rest, and think strategically, they make better decisions. Rushing leads to mistakes, wasted effort, and short-term thinking. When work is approached with clarity, each action becomes more effective, reducing the need for endless hours of effort. The concept of effortless effort in Zen embodies this idea. It is not about avoiding hard work but about removing unnecessary struggle. Instead of forcing things to happen, it is about aligning with natural rhythms. When the mind is clear and focused, work flows more smoothly. Tasks that once felt overwhelming become manageable. Success stops feeling like an uphill battle. Breaking free from hustle culture does not mean avoiding ambition. It means redefining what sustainable success looks like. The people who achieve the most are often the ones who work with intention, balance, and awareness. They do not waste time proving how busy they are. They focus on doing what matters most. The next time the urge to overwork arises, pause. Ask whether the effort is truly necessary or just a conditioned habit. Challenge the belief that more always means better. True effectiveness is not about endless struggle, it is about mastering the balance between effort and ease. In that balance lies the key to both success and well-being. Chapter 9. The Art of Intentional Living. Life moves fast. Most people are caught in a cycle of reacting, checking emails, attending meetings, chasing deadlines, without ever stopping to ask if their actions align with what truly matters. The result is a life filled with busyness but not fulfillment. Intentional living is about breaking free from autopilot and making conscious choices about how time, energy, and attention are spent. Many people mistake productivity for progress. They assume that the more they do, the further they get. But progress is not measured by how much is done, it is measured by how aligned actions are with values and goals. Being busy is not the same as being effective. True fulfillment comes from ensuring that daily efforts are directed toward what is genuinely important. The concept of ikigai, a Japanese term meaning reason for being, offers a powerful framework for intentional living. It suggests that true purpose lies at the intersection of what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, and what can sustain you. When work and life align with ikigai, each day feels more meaningful. Instead of grinding through tasks, there is a sense of purpose that fuels motivation and engagement. The first step toward intentional living is awareness. This means pausing to reflect on what truly matters. What brings fulfillment? What drains energy? What habits or commitments exist out of obligation rather than genuine desire? Most people never ask these questions, yet they determine the course of life. Regular self-reflection ensures that actions align with values rather than being driven by external expectations. Another key practice is simplification. People often fill their schedules with obligations that do not serve them, leaving little room for what actually matters. By identifying and removing unnecessary tasks, mental and emotional space is freed up for work, relationships, and experiences that bring joy and meaning. Simplification is not about doing less, it is about focusing on the right things. Intentional living also requires setting boundaries. Without boundaries, time and energy are easily consumed by the demands of others. Learning to say no to distractions, to unnecessary commitments, to work that does not align with long-term goals, is essential for maintaining clarity and balance. The most effective individuals are not those who do the most, but those who protect their time for what is truly important. Zen philosophy emphasizes the importance of presence. Even the most meaningful work or relationships lose their value when approached mindlessly. Whether working on a project, spending time with loved ones, or engaging in self-care, being fully present deepens the experience. Instead of rushing through life, each moment is embraced with awareness. This shift from doing to being transforms how success and fulfillment are experienced. A practical way to cultivate intentionality is through daily reflection. Taking just a few minutes to review the day, what went well, what could improve, what felt meaningful, creates a habit of mindful living. Over time, this practice helps reinforce actions that align with values and eliminate those that do not. It ensures that life is shaped by conscious choice rather than passive routine. The world rewards speed, but fulfillment comes from depth. Intentional living is about choosing depth over speed, meaning over mindlessness, purpose over pressure. The most successful and fulfilled individuals are not those who race through life, but those who move with clarity and purpose. The next time life feels overwhelming, pause. Ask whether your actions align with what truly matters. Are you busy or are you fulfilled? Are you reacting or are you choosing? The difference between an exhausting life and an enriching one is found in the answer. Chapter 10. The Zen Approach to Leadership Influence. Leadership is often associated with authority, control, and decisiveness. Yet the most effective leaders do not lead by force, they lead by presence, clarity, and influence. The Zen approach to leadership focuses not on dominance, but on alignment. It is about leading with wisdom, self-awareness, and a deep understanding of both people and purpose. Traditional leadership models emphasize external control, directing teams, managing outcomes, and pushing for results, but true leadership begins internally. A leader who is not centered cannot inspire clarity in others. Zen philosophy teaches that before guiding others, one must first master oneself. The ability to remain calm in chaos, to listen deeply, and to act with intention defines a leader who inspires rather than dictates. One of the core principles of Zen leadership is leading with presence. Many leaders operate in a state of distraction, multitasking, rushing from one meeting to the next, and reacting rather than responding. Presence means giving full attention to the moment, whether in conversation, decision-making, or problem-solving. A leader who is truly present creates an environment of trust, where people feel heard, valued, and motivated. Another key concept is non-attachment to control. Many leaders feel the need to micromanage every detail, believing that their direct involvement ensures success, but control often creates resistance. The best leaders empower others by setting clear direction while allowing flexibility in execution. This is the essence of Wu Wei, effortless action. Instead of forcing outcomes, a Zen leader creates the conditions for success and allows things to unfold naturally. Effective leadership is also built on deep listening. In Zen practice, listening is not just about hearing words, it is about fully understanding what is being communicated. Many leaders listen only to respond. Zen leaders listen to understand. This creates deeper connections, stronger collaboration, and more thoughtful decision-making. A team that feels understood is a team that is engaged and aligned. The ability to remain calm under pressure is another hallmark of Zen leadership. Stress and urgency are inevitable in any leadership role, but how a leader responds determines the outcome. Reacting impulsively spreads chaos. Responding with clarity maintains stability. Zen practice teaches that emotions should be acknowledged but not allowed to dictate action. A centered leader becomes a grounding force for those they lead. Another key to effective leadership is humility. Many believe that leaders must always have the answers, but true leadership comes from recognizing that learning never stops. The Zen concept of exhaustion, or beginner's mind, encourages openness, curiosity, and continuous growth. The best leaders are not those who claim to know everything, but those who remain open to new ideas and perspectives. Leadership is also about influence rather than force. People do not follow because they are told to, they follow because they believe in a shared purpose. A Zen leader understands the power of alignment, ensuring that actions, words, and values are consistent. When a leader embodies the principles they expect from others, influence happens naturally. Decision-making is another area where the Zen approach proves valuable. Many leaders operate under pressure, making rushed decisions out of fear or urgency. But Zen teaches the power of pausing before acting. Taking even a brief moment to breathe, reflect, and assess prevents reactive choices and leads to more thoughtful outcomes. The most impactful leaders are not those who chase power, but those who cultivate clarity, presence, and wisdom. Leadership is not about controlling others, it is about creating an environment where people thrive. When a leader operates from a place of alignment, their influence extends effortlessly. The next time you are faced with a leadership challenge, pause. Ask yourself, am I leading with clarity or control? Am I truly listening? Am I creating space for others to rise? True leadership is not about having authority, it is about inspiring trust, guiding with wisdom, and leading by example. Chapter 11. Designing a balanced work-life system. Work-life balance is often treated as a distant goal, something to be achieved once deadlines are met, promotions are secured, or life becomes less hectic. But balance is not something to be reached in the future, it is something to be created in the present. Without intentional design, work will always expand to fill available time, leaving little space for rest, relationships, or personal growth. Many people struggle with balance because they believe work and life are in competition. They see rest as time taken away from productivity, rather than something that enhances it. But the most successful individuals understand that sustainable performance comes from cycles of effort and recovery. True balance is not about working less, it is about working in a way that supports both achievement and well-being. One of the biggest barriers to balance is the inability to set boundaries. Without clear boundaries, work seeps into personal time, and personal distractions creep into work hours. The result is a constant state of partial attention, where neither work nor rest feels fully satisfying. Creating structure, such as defining work hours, limiting after-hours communication, and protecting time for personal priorities, ensures that both areas of life receive full presence. Another essential component of balance is learning to prioritize effectively. Not everything requires immediate attention, yet many people operate in a state of constant urgency. The Eisenhower matrix, a simple decision-making tool, helps separate important tasks from distractions. By focusing on what truly matters and letting go of what does not, time is spent more intentionally. Zen philosophy emphasizes the concept of minimalism, not just in physical possessions, but in commitments and obligations. Many people feel overwhelmed because they take on too much, saying yes out of obligation rather than purpose. Simplifying commitments creates space for deeper engagement in what truly matters. Balance is not about doing everything, it is about doing the right things. Another key factor is energy management. Many professionals focus on managing time, but time alone does not determine effectiveness, energy does. Working long hours with low energy leads to diminished results, while working fewer hours with full focus leads to greater impact. The most effective workers align tasks with their natural energy cycles, tackling deep work when energy is high and reserving routine tasks for lower energy periods. Technology also plays a major role in work-life balance. Constant connectivity makes it easy for work to intrude into personal life. Setting boundaries around technology, such as disabling notifications after work hours, creating screen-free zones, or scheduling digital detoxes, helps prevent work from consuming all available attention. Mindful technology use creates space for rest, reflection, and meaningful connections. The power of routines cannot be overlooked. A well-designed morning routine sets the tone for the day, while an intentional evening routine creates a smooth transition into rest. Simple habits, such as journaling, meditation, exercise, or reading, create anchors that support balance. When routines are intentional, they serve as reminders to slow down, refocus, and move through life with greater awareness. Work-life balance is not about achieving a perfect split between work and personal time. Some days will be work-heavy, while others will require more personal focus. The key is adaptability, the ability to recognize when energy needs to be shifted and adjusting accordingly. Balance is a dynamic process, not a fixed destination. The next time work feels overwhelming, take a step back and ask, is my time being spent on what truly matters? Are my boundaries clear? Is my work supporting my life? Or is my life being shaped around work? True balance is not found by working less or resting more, but by aligning effort with values, presence with purpose, and ambition with well-being. The goal is not to escape work but to integrate it into a life that feels whole, meaningful, and fulfilling. Take care, and be well.